In honor of David L. Carter, who was a member of the Burnham family and a very staunch supporter of the park and of the association's efforts in the park. And we are fortunate, very fortunate today to have members of the Burnham family right here. We have Ann Carter-Lyons, we have Stephen Carter, we have Alison Mitchell, and her daughter Pamela Mitchell. And they're going to say a few words. We also have a plaque. This first tree is a swamp oak tree, and we're going to be putting a plaque on that says, honoring the Burnham family for 100 years of Burnham Park. So I turn it over to Allison and the family.
Nice to see you all. And, it's really a wonderful occasion to be with people who really love the park and enjoy working in it and are preserving it. All I'm going to do is just fill you in on a couple of little background things. The first one is that Frederick Gordon Burnham was born in 1831 in New York City. He originally lived in Massachusetts, and then good friend was Jonathan Dickinson, the first president of Princeton, and then he moved to Morristown in 1840 and built a house close to the Morris Plains line called the Homestead. After receiving his early schooling at 16, Mr. Burnham went on for his BA in legal studies at New York University, and he was admitted to the New York bar. He decided on further study at Harvard, and which he completed in 1854. And the other most important thing was that he met Catherine Hilliard, who became his wife, and what a wonderful, inspiring couple they must have been. They lived on the east side of New York for many years, and he joined a law firm there. And then he decided that the air in New York City was foul, as he put it, and so he moved out to Morristown, and they built their own house, and he became a member of the New Jersey bar, and chief counsel to Mutual Life Insurance. Later, he and Catherine personally raised the funds for the Morris Plains Presbyterian Church and parsonage, and he became a ruling elder. He was trustee of the local hospital and also chairman of the Republican County Commission. He and Catherine started an Italian mission that became the Neighborhood House, and he was one of the founders of the National Audubon Society. In April of 1911, he outlined in a letter to Mayor Pearson in Morristown his and Mrs. Burnham's plan to give Morristown a piece of ground for a public park. And this is what he said. So near the green as to be within easy walking distance of the residences of our town, especially those which have not much land surrounding them. Such a piece of ground should contain 25 or 30 acres, available for walks, resting places, with cool spring water, ponds, and streams, where the pleasure of fishing and boating could be had. Fine trees under whose wide-spreading branches mothers could take their children and find their rest and enjoyment. Mr. Burnham included a list of restrictions that he took very seriously. In 1914, he made an amendment to the deed to allow some ball playing, but never on Sunday. And, unfortunately, it pains me to have to tell you this, originally he restricted it to only boys. Yes, well, he hadn't met any feminists yet. There was in no case, no professional baseball. There would be no fence, gateway, or any other structure, no entrance fee, and finally, as little noise, uproar, and confusion as possible. While generous and charming, Frederick Gordon Burnham was also reserved an exemplar of plain living and high thinking. According to Cap, our father, notes he was a tall, spare man, austere, of absolute integrity, with a wonderful small size. He was devoted to my father, and just going to read a very short letter because it's so charming. My darling grandson, your birthday is soon coming, and I wish to remember it. I enclose a bill for you to use entirely as you please. Your grandma and I are very sorry to hear of your sickness. We are thinking of you all the time. When you get well, which I hope will be very soon, you must bring your mother out here and make us a good long visit. If you don't hurry to come, who will drink up the milk from our beautiful new cow that I have just brought? And now, good night, my dear boy, and may you very soon be well again. Your affectionate grandma. I also just want to mention to you that Catherine, his wife, was an enormously successful novelist of children's books. I don't know if you're aware of that, but she wrote a number of books that were bestsellers, and they are all in the Library of Congress. And I'm not sure if I can remember the names now, but when I was doing some research in the Library of Congress a few years back, I couldn't find them, and finally I looked up under Mrs. Frederick Burnham, and there she was. And indeed, all of the books were in there. Just a few of the titles. Her books dealt with the day-to-day moral choices of children, as their titles indicate. I Can, or Charlie's Motto, I'll Try, or Sensible Daisy, and I Can't, or Nellie and Lucy, and the most popular was Ernest, A True Story, of which on the title page of Ernest, A True Story, no author is listed, and the small volume is only 177 pages. But she was a best-selling author in the 1890s. So, in closing, I'm very sorry that my brother Burnham could not be here today. He's down but not out with a stroke. But he really wanted to be here in person to thank you in honor of a grandfather, great-grandfather, who was a very important moral figure in our lives throughout the years. And I also want to congratulate you on the work you're doing, and it's been a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I hope that I can be back soon. Thank you.
I need someone tall. I think we're going to just put this over one of the high branches. Stephen, you want to give us a hand? Yeah. Just want to hook it over as high as you can reach.
High branches you can get to.
Right.
And don't kill it.
Oh, no, he won't. No.
What is
Whoa,
it?
don't hurt yourself. That's the plaque, and it says, in gratitude to the Burnham family for 100 years of Burnham Park.
That should do well there with all the water.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a swamp. One more tree.